I promised my wife that I would say literally her favorite movie of all time.
Here we go.
No,
we gotta walk down here.
Is 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah,
it is
dude.
literally
Yeah, dude.
And you were great in that movie.
No, you were so good in that movie.
Yes.
But
Yeah, dude.
literally, she recites your lines to me from that. And she has for 5 years, just so you know. So when I told her that you were on the pod today, she was like, my favorite film, please tell him I said hi.
It really is like the quintessential movie magic happening.
That's it.
Which
It's
Absolutely.
lightning in a bottle, right?
Hey, everybody. It's Friday.
Wow, that was weird.
Welcome to the Brotherly Love Pod.
I told Matt to take this one, and it was probably the most awkward
I know.
opening to a
Hello,
podcast
everybody.
we've
Listen,
ever had.
I didn't say the landing wasn't going to be bumpy, but I did say I'd get you there safe.
Oh,
So here it is, folks.
We made it.
Welcome to the
We
Brotherly
made
Love
it.
Pod. We did make it. It's Friday. Thanks for joining us. We have a very special guest in studio
We always
today.
love the in-studio stuff. It always works pretty cool.
With no further ado,
Yeah.
Andrew Keegan.
Everybody!
Hey, is this where we're gonna share with everybody that I'm the fourth Lawrence?
Yes,
Yes.
of course, you
Okay,
are.
Keegan
Absolutely.
Lawrence.
Exactly.
Keegan Lawrence.
Like the whole time, I was
Yes,
like,
man.
why wasn't I Lawrence? Look at these
Dude.
guys; they get to work
on.
together. And
I know.
I love
I
it.
know.
It's not as great as it looks, believe me.
I'm gonna have fun no matter
No, you
what.
are, you
bro.
are. No, man, we're so glad you're here. It's always so cool to to do this as long as we have, right? We all started so young, so it's like all these decades go by, and we're still like we're not old yet. You and I are getting there, but we're not old yet.
there.
But
We're getting there.
but it's so crazy how much time has gone by and how fast it goes. And yet you do come in contact with people that are really cool, and to see them throughout the years, but not all the time, makes it special when you can run into them again like we did. It's like, oh my God, those guys are so cool. Like they were always so cool. It was always cool.
Right.
And it's like a little community, but like family, like Matt and I were saying, and Andy said it too. It's like,
Distant cousins.
but like you don't always
rarely
see them.
and
yet
you don't
feel
know
like
too
not
well.
too much time has passed when you do see them.
But it's a
You know?
familiar feeling being
It
around
is.
them.
Well,
It
I think
is.
there's an element. You know, you were young when you started
Yeah,
working, and I think there's an element of almost a military buddyhood that no one else could really
Right.
quite
We're in a club.
understand.
We're in a club.
What it's like to go to war unless you've actually gone
Well,
to war.
I
And
mean-
I know being a child actor is nothing in relation
I was about
to
to
that.
say.
I was going to say it now.
yeah,
I know. I want a
To all our
prerequisite
veterans
Yeah.
and
for
those
legal
in
purposes.
services.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
there's
no.
nothing in remotely like it.
But there is a challenge to growing up in a different way amongst a world that isn't that way.
Right.
So to that extent.
Yeah, I think Matt was talking about there's an unspoken sort of bond that you have because
Yeah.
there's a similar criteria of circumstances
Yeah.
in which you go through that other people don't, and
Yeah.
there's a unspoken sort of like chemistry that you just have.
Well, and it
Like
was
the military, they have their bond. We don't go through it; they go through it. But there is a brotherhood there, and there's in a way kind of a brotherhood
Yes,
here.
that's
you know?
what I mean.
We all have matching tattoos.
Yeah, I'm sure we do. Yeah, no, we don't.
Wait a second. That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
That'd be
Wait
pretty
a
cool.
minute.
Uh-oh.
Wait a
Always
minute.
talked about
Yeah.
getting brothers tattoos. We've never done it.
Uh-oh.
I'm glad we avoided. Matt and I were heavy on the tribal bands in the late '90s.
Oh,
we never
boy.
did it.
We never did it.
Every time we went to Hawaii, that
We
was
were
like
like,
there was
"Let's do it.
let's go
We
get
get the
tribal
tribals.
bands. Do you have any
Do it.
tattoos? Will you have any tribal bands?
No, I don't have any.
No,
I have a tribal.
Yeah, I know,
tattoo.
yeah,
That's really,
yeah.
thanks, guys. Appreciate
We're so
it.
glad we
Tramp
didn't.
stamp, by
We're
the
so
way.
glad we
So those are the
only
only-
losers get those tribal bands. Hey guys, I got a couple.
Awesome.
What? It's different for everybody. They have their own unique.
But now
It works for you.
Now it's cool. Then it was a thing, but no.
Well, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, I remember that.
Remember
phase,
that, like
too.
the late '90s, all the boy bands.
Yeah.
All the Lachey's have. Everybody's got.
Yes.
No, what they do? They got like the tribal band. Look at
Yeah.
this, and then you go like, that does not look. Why did I do that?
Didn't age well.
But they do
Well,
it. Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to. I never did the tattoo. I thought, like same thing. You think about it. How about you guys?
No.
Nobody.
Dude, I know.
I have a tiny little thing on my back of my left ear, but
the only thing I got, the
No,
only
it
thing I
doesn't.
got is my wife's initial and a heart on my
Okay,
on my ring.
so
finger.
now we
That's
went
it.
from none to two.
Yeah.
Are we done yet?
I got
Tramp
none.
stamp?
That's it.
No,
Well,
yeah, I just
I
got
wanna
my
see.
whole
I
back.
wanna see.
And I got a picture of Meatloaf, but that was a bet that I lost. I love that song. You can do it.
I love that song.
I will do anything for you. But
Wait, you guys are from the East Coast, right?
Philadelphia.
Yes.
Okay, that's. I was like hearing it more, and I was
Yeah.
like, wait
Where
a
are you
second.
from?
I grew up out here.
Oh,
you're from us,
because
yeah.
you're a surfer guy, right? And all that stuff.
I do surf.
I mean, you surf, right?
Yeah.
Joe, I don't think Joe's ever been on a surfboard in his life.
I have been on a surf.
I don't think so.
So
On the
I'm more of
beach.
a motorboat guy.
You know,
I like
on
to
the-
go fast, you
Wait
know?
a second. So
not a
speaking
surfer.
of surfing,
Yeah.
I just got back. Well, December from Tabarua. So I've got photos of getting full on sick barrels, like head high.
Really?
Dude, that's awesome.
And-
No,
he's a
was
very
privy
good
to some of-
surfer.
You sent
Yeah.
me some of them.
Did you? Oh yeah, exactly.
That was incredible.
So I'm
I
saying,
was like, oh man, we're literally sitting in the podcast, dude. It's like cold and rainy.
We're in here.
He's like,
He's riding some epic face. We're like,
it was epic. But I'm saying you guys should come down. It's
Oh
like,
my
my gosh,
really
dude.
so magical.
Where is
Tavaru's in Fiji?
Oh, Tavarua.
I want to go so bad. Okay, you brought this up. So one of my bucket lists. So I'm a big iguana guy, and I work a lot with the International Iguana Foundation, and they have a conservatory in Fiji. And I've always wanted to go. I've never gotten.
Says that he gets paid, so he just.
No, it's a nonprofit.
The guy the messenger just showed up. Bing! Here you go.
It's a-
Thanks, guys. This is just a residual. It's nothing. No,
like-
it's not.
I heard
it's a damn
it's like the
iguana
Venmo bing on his phone.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Bing, Cash App. No, it's no.
What is it called
Accept.
again?
No, I'm trying.
What
I'm
is it called
actually
again?
The
it's
National
International Iguana Foundation. So this is big. This is big. No, I'm actually trying to raise money for them because we're trying to build the headquarters with every 27 different species of iguanas under one roof. But that's a whole other ballgame. Anyway, the Fijian iguana. There's the crested, there's the banded, there's the luau banded, and then there's a couple other distinct subspecies that haven't really been properly scientifically
Identified or named?
because they're worried that if they do, then people will get geolocation and go and take them all for the illegal pet trade. So there's actually like 5 or 6 different locales that we know of in Fiji of iguanas, and it's very rare
They
because
got
that's
great apples there too.
so the Fijian iguana, that's the furthest that the iguana has made it through the Pacific Ocean, because they are an actual North American or American species, South American, but American species.
Okay, that makes sense.
South America and
But
the
they swim.
Caribbean. They're not in Africa. They're not in Australia. But the Fijian iguana has gotten all the way out to Fiji, and it's the only one that made it all the way out. It didn't get to Hawaii, didn't get anywhere else, but it made it all the way out to Fiji. And their closest relative is the desert iguana here in the deserts of California.
That's bizarre.
Not
Would
bizarre.
that be a bearded dragon?
Huh?
A bearded dragon? Is,
No,
or
no, bearded. They're all.
I got a bearded dragon.
I love bearded dragons. I got a couple of them.
Okay.
They're
Matt's got, like,
Australian.
27.
I actually was in Australia and was studying with wild bearded dragons and like taking poop cultures and see what they're eating. And
You're really into
Oh,
iguanas.
dude.
I'm a massive.
We gotta
Wait,
share
so
the
then wait,
backyard.
wait a
It's
second.
nuts.
You remember there's a photo that I had at probably 15, 16 years old with an iguana on my shoulder. Stuff that I like use for my fan, whatever.
Yeah.
So I have a photo like 16 with
an iguana on your
with my
shoulder.
hair all.
Oh,
you know what
yeah.
I mean, it was like one of those photo shoots. But
course.
Those animal guys were very popular.
They
back
were
then.
in our day.
Like,
they were
like
walking
they would
down
come-
Melrose and
Yeah,
stuff
they'd
with
have
iguanas.
always have
and
iguanas.
pictures.
Was it your iguana or was it like an animal guy's?
oh no, I had an iguana.
Oh, was it
no,
actually
no,
your
I had
iguana?
it.
You had
it?
Montu. was my
Green.
iguana. Yeah, green.
Green. So you
iguana.
had like probably a
Yeah.
Colombian or an El
Yeah,
Salvadoran.
Just one of
Yeah.
the average ones.
Yeah.
But I got my daughter a bearded dragon, so I have
They're
a
awesome.
story that is may upset you a little bit.
Okay,
so
it's all
fair,
right.
fair warning.
No, no,
Okay,
hey.
but
Disclaimer.
we have to do our trigger warnings.
Yeah. No
problem.
Since you have
Yes.
such passion, but I'll tell the story. I will say there's a
We
happy
ate
ending.
it.
Mm.
Oh,
Happy ending.
what the hell?
Happy ending. I know.
We were hungry,
Son of a bitch.
but our
No, stop, Matt.
we were saved.
During the natural disaster.
So
Our
a couple days ago,
Power
I
went
got
out.
my daughter a bearded dragon. The thing is a good size.
Mhm.
You know, it's a good sized dragon.
Where'd you get it from?
A pet store.
Sorry
Puppy,
about
yeah. I will.
This guy named Rico on the corner.
The guy walking down Hollywood Boulevard, he had 10 of them. I should have called you. Now it turns out.
Absolutely. Any
Single-
reptile related thing, especially for kids,
Actually,
I'm down.
anything you need.
Just
Matt's the
text me.
guy.
I'll yeah.
So I should have texted you.
Yeah.
So I take it out in my front yard. I'm in
Okay.
Venice. I got a gated area. I just had work done, the fence redone. So the space underneath the gate, so I left it out. Usually I
Yeah.
kind of, you get distracted. I got to take
yeah.
this call, and it's an hour went by. I was like,
The bearded
wow,
dragon.
where's? So I walked all around the whole day. You know, it was like 9:30 in the morning,
yeah.
and it's like
Oh,
I
man,
can't
it's
do
tough.
anything because I've got to find this thing. So
Yeah.
I'm looking like an idiot walking around my neighborhood and people's yards. Like
seen my beardy?
it's freezing out. It's raining. I got my big
Hell is
black
Andrew
jacket.
Keegan doing in my front yard?
No, literally, the guy across the street's like, "What
How you doing?
Yeah, how's it going?
You seen a bearded dragon?
Yeah.
Lizard.
I like your movies. Get off my yard.
So a day goes by. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. My daughter, tell her, have you ever been reamed out by an 8, 9-year-old? Let me tell you, I had no
I
idea
have 3
what would
daughters.
come out of her mouth. She was not happy. I have some-
Oh wow.
I did take some video because it was so kind of cute in a weird way.
Posted
like,
it.
yeah, no, no, I didn't. I didn't post it.
Terrible parent.
So a day goes by, and I'm like, oh, she's upset. Another day goes by. I'm out playing volleyball on the beach, and this girl comes up, a friend of one of the guys I'm playing with. So she knew that I had animals, and so she just moved down the street, and she's like, hey, Are you missing a bearded dragon? I was like,
No.
What? It came up to her door, crawled in like the little crevice between the gate and the door, sitting there, and I was like, let's go get it. So it went. It was freezing.
Yeah.
It was so cold.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
really
Okay.
resilient.
So how
So
did
that's
they-
the story. Happy
How
end.
are they so resilient?
So here's the thing.
But then you
Yeah.
have to tell the fire truck story because
Oh yeah, I'll tell the fire truck story. So
Can you do a
I
quick
feel
little
your
hair?
pain.
50
I've
more
been
minutes.
through that many
gosh.
times in my life where
Dude, Joe, remember when Jomo got out? And I like months later, I found his. Remember, I found. All right, go ahead, tell a story.
yeah.
2 stories. Go ahead.
No, it's bearded dragons in particular, people don't give them enough credit. And I learned this because all across the internet and when you go to pet stores, they say, you know, you want to keep your bearded dragon around a low of like 65 and you want a high of 90 to with a basking spot of about 102, 3 degrees. And you're like, okay, that's cool. And you're like, so don't let them drop below that temperature. It's really not good for them if it's out in the rain, the cold. So I'm literally on the Gold Coast in Australia, and I take a little trip inward and to go see some bearded dragons. And I get there, and it's 45 degrees and raining, and there's a bearded dragon on a rock trying to warm up. It's cold. Point is, where they're from, they have all the extremes there towards central, even during the coast, but mostly in the central of Australia, like our deserts. Like, yeah, it could get 105, but it can also get to freezing. And bearded dragons have no problem surviving that if you give them the proper substrate to make themselves a little den and a little burrow, in which case they'll be fine. So the point is that having a bearded dragon, he probably had the best time of his life. I don't think it was a bad thing for him. I think he got to explore. I think at the end of the day, he probably got a little scared because he has a captive dragon, and that's why he seeked refuge within a little space.
Yeah, he got in a little.
Yeah,
you know.
but in the end of the day, no, that's a great story that you found him, good, happy ending. And yes, I've been there. I used to let my reptiles. I got to the point where I would tie before they made reptile harnesses. I would make my own harnesses
With
and
bells.
nail the string to the tree because they would get away. You know, when I was young. Anyway, cool story. My escape story was I've got a very large Cuban iguana, and
He's like,
He's so. You'll meet him if it's not
Yeah,
raining
he's
too much.
big,
He's
big.
so cool. He
weighs as much as Mr. Schmeek.
Yeah, he nods at you, and he's very personable.
30 pounds.
He's really. And how old is he now? Jeez.
Well,
20-something?
I hatched him out of an egg at 2000. So he's 25.
Yeah.
Turned 25.
Wow.
Well, turned 25. I guess he hatched out in like June, so he'd be 25 in June this year. But he got out, and he decided to go on 2 houses down my neighbor's roof to sun himself.
Mm.
And
He's big.
He's big. My neighbor
He's-
freaked out and said there was
an alligator on our
alligator
roof.
loose in Sherman Oaks. So I get
Typical
a call.
LA.
I'm at work. I'm
Yeah.
my God, it's like
I'm-
an alligator.
No, it was not. It was not like that. It was like, oh my god!
Oh, it was bad. No, it was
Called
really
the
bad.
cops.
Listen,
called the
oh,
fire
come on.
department.
No,
They
no,
were
no.
going to shoot it.
I get a call. I'm at
Yes. They're gonna
CBS.
I will not take
Yes.
your shot. It's like the
Dude.
scene from The Rock.
I'm at CBS Radford shooting a show,
I remember
and I get a
this.
call from when she was still here. The lady the only neighbor in the whole
nice.
neighborhood was really sweet to me.
Right.
She kind of took her arms around me. I was like the only young guy in this neighborhood.
Took her arms around you.
Put her arms around me. You know what I'm saying?
Give me a little
Anyway.
nuzzle. What?
Little kiss in the neck. What, man?
She
This
was
is getting-
100. Don't worry
It's
about
getting
it.
weird.
Heck,
Oh,
this is a
come
weird-
on, she was
a terrible
my
story.
sweet neighbor, the only sweet neighbor I had.
I'm
And you
just
guys
kidding,
turned it
I'm
into something awful. No, it's
All you gotta do, and all I'm doing is working with the International Lizard Foundation. Ding! You son of a bitch!
so
That's a non sequitur. That didn't even make any sense. You're plugging your damn. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Jomo gets out. He's on the roof. I'm working. I get a call from my sweet neighbor. It's really bad. There are 7 fire trucks, 3
What?
police cars. The sheriff of the San Fernando Valley
thought it-
and the chief of police was called.
They thought an alligator was on somebody's roof.
And
Wow.
I get back to this whole street here
Covered.
with cops and fire guys.
I think that scene in Lethal Weapon 3
It
when
was.
the bomb goes
And
off.
I pull up, and I mean a V-shaped formation. It was almost like something on a Christmas vacation. Glong, glong, glong. Walk up to me.
Come on.
Are you the owner of this
Come on.
reptile? Yes, sir. Do
my
you know?
aunt is
Do you
very
know we're
sick.
going to euthanize it? And I flipped out. I was like, you don't understand. This is like my
hatched him out of
child.
an egg.
I'm going out.
I incubated it myself. Matt sat on that egg.
Can
for
you get
months.
up on that roof right now and get off? I was like, of course I can get up on the roof right now. I run up there. He's not going to bite her. No, I run up. I grab him. I was like, see, I show him to all the guys. End of the story is we wind up taking pictures.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And I use it at cons.
No,
idiot.
no. And they gave me a very
my
stern
portfolio.
lecturing.
Okay.
Which hence brought on
Oh, yeah.
the giant iron cage
Oh.
that is now in the
Where do you see
backyard.
this thing he built?
That is escape proof.
Right.
Because he
Yes.
did tell me the next time that happens, it's going to be a
It
dart
is.
and out, and there won't be any questions
is.
asked.
This is a big lizard I'm getting.
Big
I'm
lizard.
getting that impression.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
alligator.
it's big. No, it's big. It's very big.
so
it's very thick. And
anyway,
Anyway, he also got loose for what, 2 months or a
2
month?
months.
And I found his.
This happens, by the way, when
2 months.
Yeah,
2
before the
months.
cage was built,
Before the
he was
cage was-
gone.
he was
Matt
an escape. He was
Matt
Houdini. I should have named him Houdini. But
heartbroken, but I found his lizard droppings in this closet.
in the closet.
I was like, Matt, there's poop in here. And Matt's like, oh my God, this is iguana poop. And he's like, Chumo.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
That's iguana poop.
Yeah,
Wow,
he
you
found,
disgusting.
and he tracked him down. He was like in the closet.
Yeah, he had gotten. There was like a false board.
He was
So the-
taking
up, you know, there's like the
craps
little
and
shelf,
eating-
and there's just that single layer rod,
Bugs.
like sliding door,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So he had gotten up, and there was a board that was not like there was a space you could actually get behind into the wall, and he was just in there.
I found that in a treasure map. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
trust me, but I burned that because
Was
what's
he,
the odds of that being legit? What? When was this house built? I don't know. It's a really old one.
1780s.
1780s.
Some guy named Black something used to live here. Beard? Yeah, that's it. You idiot.
It's like the guy who threw away his laptop with $700 million worth of Bitcoin on it,
Oh, yeah.
and is still
I heard
trying to
about
find it
that.
to this day. He's trying to now shut down the whole
landfills.
landfill
Yeah.
where he thinks it might be, just to scour through it.
Wow.
That's a lot.
I've heard of that with lottery tickets. They
Oh,
won like
yeah.
the $300
Did you see the
million
two
lottery
brothers that won?
No.
Did you see the picture of
No.
the two brothers that won? One of them won. They both randomly bought tickets and they both won. But one of them won $7.19. The other one won like $700 million. And they're standing next to each other with the checks. And the one brother's super stoked. The other one's like
That's hilarious.
hundreds of millions of dollars. Good another brother story is when Woody Harrelson. Did you guys? I sent this to these guys, but Woody
ticket. Oh,
Harrelson.
dude, that was so funny.
He was doing like a press tour with Liam Hemsworth for the Hunger Games. That's what
Thank
it is.
you,
Thanks,
Sam.
Sam. He's sitting next to Liam, and I guess Woody Harrelson also had just worked with Chris Hemsworth, but he didn't realize they were brothers, and he makes the connection
But they did the whole movie. They did
they already shot, like he shot movies with both of them. He was on press tours with both of them separately, and he's sitting there and he makes the connection that
But didn't the reporter go? One of the questions she
Yeah,
asked
it was
Liam
about
was
his-
like,
yeah.
you know,
So are you stoked for your brother's Thor opening up, and like it being a big hit? Woody Harrelson's like, what? You guys are brothers? He's like, damn, you guys are doing great. He's like, I guess I should have made the connection, the last names, but I didn't realize that.
I gotta watch
Yeah.
that.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
send it.
I
to
will.
us.
It's so funny.
yeah.
It's really funny. I'll
It's
send it to you. It's
so
really
funny.
good.
You
It
know,
is.
I saw Woody Harrelson's new movie. It's a true story about
the diver?
divers.
Oh yeah.
That,
Oh yeah, how is that?
And you know when you go to the movie and you've heard
Woody
nothing,
Harrelson's great.
you've heard nothing about a film, and you're just like, you just really, actually, my girlfriend and I we really just wanted to go to the cinema, and there was nothing out necessarily that we want, so we literally were like, let's just go do a drive-by, see what's at the cinema. So we go there. It's like old school.
We just did a
movie
drive-by.
going. Yeah, we just old
What kind
school
of drive-by did you do?
Oh,
At the cinema.
at the cinema.
Oh my God.
No,
I
Joe.
gotta make a quick call. Please.
No, come on. Anyway, and we get there, and there's these movies, and we're like, okay, I don't know if that's worth it. And then we're like, what's this one? We did a little research. It's a based on a true story, or it's a true story.
It's a true story.
100% factual. And we were like, okay, let's go see it. I was so surprised by this film. It was a wonderful movie.
Which one?
Deep Last Breath.
Sam.
And Sam almost just took his.
He just saw this movie.
He's so pissed. He's just like, this is my
Last
last one.
He's just the best part about it is Matt just saw the movie. And he's like deep water. It's not even in.
No.
Deep.
Sorry. Anyway,
Deep
Last
Woody
Breath.
Harrelson film.
Guys,
not it.
there are, and I'm gonna, there are a few natural disaster movies that I really, really loved. The one with again,
Tom Holland and the Impossible.
The
or whatever.
Impossible.
That was insane about the tsunami wave. Did you see
Oh
Impossible?
my gosh,
I didn't see
incredible.
Impossible, but I saw the real.
You gotta-
I watched the 4-part series on the real thing.
Yeah, the real
which is
incredible. I saw that,
Dude,
It's
it is
wild, isn't it?
insane.
Like, you know, you don't know you saw it, you lived through it, but
Yeah.
then you actually get the.
It's
actual story.
crazy. Anyway, Impossible. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Incredible natural
A couple
disaster
other ones
movie.
that Matt loves are
And I'm gonna put-
Congo and
and-
Volcano. He loves them.
Dante's Peak.
Yeah,
Joe.
Dante's Peak,
Get
yeah.
it right.
Yeah, told you he loves the film.
You guys are talking so much.
I would put this movie, I think, just under that one when it comes to my favorite natural disaster films.
cool.
And I suggest anybody
I'll
go
go
and
see
see it. Woody Harrelson's phenomenal.
He is
All the
phenomenal.
actors are phenomenal. The story's so well executed by the director. Again, I love it when directors shoot a movie as if they're the audience's eye. I don't like when I can go, oh, that was a nice fancy shot. That took my eye off the story. I want the frame to almost be behind my head as a viewer when I'm watching this thing. I want to be in it, and I don't want to be thinking of somebody's doing camera operating. Right. I want to actually watch this movie, and this director did that. Cool. And he does some incredible things with the camera, but the shots are unbelievable. The cinematography is incredible, but you don't think, oh, this is a camera that,
right.
It's really in it. The score.
It's awesome.
And deep. What's it called?
Last breath.
Last breath.
Yeah, I know.
It's about these divers.
Deep waters.
The diver. It's one of the most dangerous jobs in the world.
Movie.
Oh,
The guys who repair the cables on the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
Like
And it was his
3
last
to 7 miles.
last dive, correct?
It was his last dive, and I don't want to ruin
All
it.
this chaos ensues.
Right.
But it's a true story, so if you research, you'll know. But yes,
It's like Apollo 13 underwater.
Guys, I really highly suggest you see this movie. It was like one of my
He's
favorite
amazing.
movies I've seen in a long
He really
time.
is.
Well,
We'll show the clip.
Before we move off of movies, I promised my wife that I would say literally her favorite movie of all time.
Here we go.
No,
we gotta
joke,
walk down here.
is 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah,
it is
dude.
literally
Yeah, dude.
And you
her
were
favorite.
great in that
No,
movie.
you were
Yes.
so good in that movie.
Yes.
But
Yeah, dude.
literally, she recites your lines to me from that, and she has for 5 years, just so you know. So when I told her that you were on the pod today, she was like, "My favorite film. Please tell them I said hi." So she literally loves that movie, and it's so crazy because 6 Degrees of Separation, Gil Younger, who directed that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I love Gil.
Oh yeah, this is
Gil
true.
directed
know
several
Gil.
episodes of Blossom, and then he went on, and we hired him on Melissa and Joey, and he came on and did an amazing job on that. The reason why is because he directed Melissa and I in the movie that gave way to Melissa and Joey, which was called My Fake Fiance, which was a huge hit for ABC, and Gil is like one of my favorite people.
Can you tell your wife that I often would say, "Whoa"?
Hey,
you know what I mean?
hey.
I had to.
Thanks, man.
Hey.
No, but you know what? It's
Yeah,
that is such a part of that growing up era that
Yeah.
like it became almost it would happen. It would really happen. So I was like,
That's awesome,
just thinking
dude.
of that too. I was like, how many times
Well,
I was like, whoa.
That's dude, I appreciate that. I
That is
appreciate that.
awesome.
I'm telling you, that movie, it's really rare that, and again, I don't know, we often say this, I don't know if they really know how to, they don't know how to make a lot of great movies, because there used to be a lot of great movies. Now there's like one out of several that are good. But for some reason, man, every now and then, and John Hughes was able to do it with young people's movies, and that
Those
movie
coming
is
of
one
age
them.
stories,
Dude,
just so
Gil,
good.
It is one
you
of the
guys
greatest.
Solidified
Cast was
as
killer.
just a complete
everybody.
classic. Yeah.
It's so good.
Everything comes together, and it really was one of those movies that was like John Hughes should have made that movie, and he didn't, which is a testament to how good that movie was. It was so good, and everybody was so good in it, and it was such an amazing film because they didn't make it for young people. It was a great movie that everybody could see. Like John Hughes didn't make movies thinking like, oh, I'm gonna make these for the kids.
Right.
He made fabulous movies that gave kids like gravitas. And that movie, there was
Does the
nothing
same.
underestimated about the kids. You guys were all like really profound characters that just adults could watch, kids could watch. And you were awesome in that, dude. Really, honestly, seriously, it was great. And Gil's laugh, I don't know if you ever laughed.
Oh, yeah.
If you ever did that, but he laughed all the time, and I love you, Gil.
Well, we love Gil.
Gil's the best.
It really is like the quintessential movie magic happening.
That's it.
Which
It's
Absolutely.
lightning in a bottle, right?
We're always going for it, but I can go back on all the memories of like how it came together, and and again, this was a different time where we didn't have social media.
No.
We didn't,
Dude, can you
Dude.
imagine? Like,
So it's
what
like
the
when
heck?
Heath showed up, like we had seen a headshot, like because that's how it
Of
used
course.
to be. You didn't
No,
have
you
anything.
didn't-
Wow.
you couldn't look somebody
Wow.
up.
Yeah. You
No,
had no
if you saw the
idea.
cast, you're like, okay.
Just a
didn't
bunch
know.
of headshots
Yes.
all put
Yes.
together. So it's like we would see that on the board.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so it's like even him showing up as someone who had never done a project in the States. And
Oh
so
my
it's
gosh.
like all this. Julia I think she was 17 when we started.
Dude,
Oh
that
my
is
gosh.
so
maybe
crazy.
maybe
bro.
Larissa was too. I think she was also 17. But yeah, it was a really, and you don't know it at the time.
Yeah.
We work, and it's like it's another project. But
No,
there were moments where you just kind of. This is a good feeling.
feels
Yeah.
good,
You know
right?
what I mean? It feels
know.
good. We all got along. We
Yeah.
hung out the whole time upstairs and at the hotel. So like we would even hang out off of the set as well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, no, it was I was listening to the news the other day. Channel 5 said that they had done something where sort of a vote where I think it was voted America's favorite rom-com.
That's amazing.
And
It's amazing.
and what you're talking about is interesting too, because now even teenagers are enjoying it. You know,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
based
Oh,
on
dude.
Shakespeare, of course, too. So
Yeah.
like teachers, and then that's what you're talking about. Like,
yes,
you can enjoy it. You
Yeah.
know, even now, is it's
Dude,
timeless. you
We
know?
literally,
Timeless.
I'm not kidding you. We literally just watched it because I'm telling you, it's my wife's. Like, she loves this movie. Okay, and yeah, and I think it was a big part of her childhood because what year did that come out exactly?
99,
Okay, right. So she was born in 87, right? So
Yeah.
this is like she was
11, 12.
right.
Perfect.
So she was
Oh
like the
my
young end
gosh.
of like
Yeah, for
that was one of
sure.
her first like adult, like what she thought was like grown up,
PG-13.
right? Like
Yeah.
grown up, like more
Content.
mature,
Yeah.
young adult movies that she
Yeah.
was able to see. It hit her and her sisters. They recite lines from it all the time. I
When
mean, dude,
you-
it's wild.
When you
So-
think about that movie and
but
that
it's so
cast,
good.
there aren't.
I just saw
what?
it.
Yeah.
It's
When
so
what?
good.
What could even compete with that
I
today?
don't know.
Like,
It's really
Nothing.
dynamic. You
There's
know?
nothing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We don't have. It's weird, man.
Doesn't
You-
happen anymore.
It
Well,
just doesn't.
They don't. And it's
No, they don't
it's
make them.
weird.
They don't make them.
The culture all around it has changed,
It
of course. And
has.
you've got the studios, and again, it's a business, so people need to make money. But I think that's why Anora was really sweet this year.
Yeah.
Like, it's a $6 million independent
Yeah.
film, and I really appreciated it. Seeing it, and it's obviously pretty heavy subject matter, but that, not to give it away, but let's just
No,
say
you can-
when you get to the end, oh my God, I get it. I get why they did it so well. But again, it's nice that happened, and maybe there's a hope that
Yeah.
there's some more openness to small independent films, because it's only possible that way. If you've got too many executives and
Totally.
too much about making money and
Yeah.
special effects, it's like that was such a human connection that we had making the film.
And I
You know?
feel like,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I feel like, as you know today, like there is a real art to casting, right? There's chemistry. We talk about this all the time. You can't just always, and they do. It happens in sports too. You can't just take like elite athletes and plug them in. They don't always make a good team, you know. And that's what the casting process is. And so many times today, I feel like they import, like they plug in. And when you plug in, you're really missing out on what a cast is, which is a team.
Right.
And they have to have an innate chemistry. You could have amazing individual actors, but you put them all together, they might not be able to deliver the magic. Whereas you have a cast like this, an eclectic cast, pulling unknowns, people that, you had done some work, but not a lot of people,
No.
okay, but that casting process, I don't know if you guys did chemistry reads. I'm sure you
yeah.
did,
Yeah.
because there was a big deal back then. We did too for a lot of our stuff that I was involved in. And that's when you could, as a filmmaker and as a studio or the people behind the film, could really go, you know what? I didn't even think this guy was going to be right, but he's so good with her and
Yeah.
him and him.
100%.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
But today they don't really even take time to do that. They just kind of pull and plug, you know?
You're reminding me of another film that I'm not sure you guys have seen, but it's called The Broken Hearts Club, and that was a cast of gay characters in West Hollywood.
Mhm.
But that cast as well was Zach Braff before
Okay.
Scrubs,
Mm.
Billy Porter,
Oh, my
Dean
gosh.
Kane, Timothy Oliphant. And it was just like,
Wait a minute.
it's
Wow, I never saw it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
Okay.
also 99, but it's a
Wow.
really sweet film. Greg Berlanti, he's
Oh.
directing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Berlanti directed it.
Jeez.
Wow.
And it was just like a, kind of a story that he wanted to tell,
Yeah.
relating to his life.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was exceptional. It was just a really good film, but it's an underrated.
Yeah.
You're talking about
Again, though,
you
that
know,
cast you just reeled off is
Yeah.
very random. And the
Right,
point is,
right.
it's not it's only random to us, but they probably
Until you see the film.
But they
Right.
probably, but I love random casts because I know that there was a process to find those
Oh,
people
100%.
because it's a team that shouldn't have made
Right,
sense.
right,
You know what I mean?
right,
So
exactly.
they knew something before everybody else did
Yeah.
because they went through a chemistry process to make sure that team could play well together.
and it speaks well to the directors and the producers.
That's
and
what I'm
the-
saying.
And the
People took time to
camaraderie,
do it.
right? The camaraderie of that level. So compliments to those two films.
That's
the
awesome.
Producers and all
So many times a day they leave casting to the very end, right? I mean, how many times?
Yeah.
Oh, we need you. It starts Monday. You're like, it's Friday. You're just finding the lead to this film. Don't worry, it's going to be great. It's like, not so sure about
Yeah,
that.
it's a little scary.
Yeah, because casting used to take some time to cast things,
Yeah, no,
Oh,
like
yeah.
weeks
man.
to find
Oh
the
my
right.
gosh, sometimes.
cast. Oh, remember,
months
dude? I
and
remember going
months
out
and
for things.
months and months.
You would be in the mix for weeks.
wait,
Yeah.
I just realized we were cast in a movie together. You remember that?
That's right. I do.
No, you didn't for a second though. It took you a second.
Yeah, it took me a second,
Which
but I
one?
do
I gotta
remember.
look it up.
Yes,
So
I do.
this is this. I don't know if I actually would be curious to know your side of the story.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, right, for sure.
All right. So do they know anything? Probably not.
Probably not.
Okay.
No.
So I had done 10 things, as we were just discussing. What a fantastic experience that was, doing Shakespeare. So yeah, I went in and got cast in The Hot Chick.
No way.
No
All
way.
right. Well,
Yeah.
obviously, I'm not in the film, but I was cast in the film.
Interesting.
And so, my memory, because this was a long time ago. So I went to the read through with you guys. So I was at the read through at the studios
table
the table read.
Yeah.
And I don't know what your impression was, but I did have like this, man, I just did this Shakespeare film and I'm playing a guy, he's like a douchebag. And I'm like, I'm already kind of a douchebag, but I'm a douchebag. So I had this whole, do I really want to get typecast as a douchebag?
Right.
So I had this attitude. So when I did the table read, apparently that came across.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah. So I got the call from one of the Schneiders, like, basically, we're going to fire you.
No way.
And I mean, like,
Wow.
on the one hand, I was like, well, like, I don't really want to do it, but I didn't want to get fired. Like, I'll do it. I'll do it,
Yeah,
But
you
they're like,
think your
nah.
ego's sort of like, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
And you feel like, hey,
No,
wait a minute.
totally. I want to do it.
Such a great
I'm not doing this thing. Are you kidding me? You can't get better douche than this, okay?
Yeah.
I'm the best douchebag.
So, right. So in any case, that didn't work. But and I don't even know if I ever talked about this, but they still had to pay me because it was already like,
Yeah,
Oh,
fair
it's a fair
play.
play.
I did- I-
That's pretty
I
good.
had a couple of
That's
those.
Yeah,
pretty
right.
good.
So
We've
I
been in
got
that position.
paid not to do the movie.
Yeah,
And
of course,
it's,
that happened to me.
it's Adam Sandler and all these, they didn't care. Right.
No,
And I
they
was like,
didn't care.
that's cool. So I was a little, and interestingly enough, to kind of take it around in a different direction. So that's how I got into real estate, because I had like this money and I'm like, it doesn't feel right. So that's what I used that money to get into real estate. And
So
that's
smart,
like
dude.
a big
Dude, how cool was
2001
that?
too. Yeah. So
Dude.
thank you for,
It's
it's good to get fired
amazing.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Bro,
it-
that's
Wow.
amazing.
yeah, I took the money and bought 2 houses with
Oh,
like down
my
payments,
gosh.
and that's how I ended up, kind of getting into real estate, which is a whole nother conversation, not for today, but yeah. I did
Dude.
real estate,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
That
amazing.
is
But
bro.
so wait, what was your side of the story? Because like
You
I was
know-
there one day, and
Yes,
then
and I know.
what
and
was the explanation?
It was. I remember it being awkward because they
You know
were
what's
like,
weird? I vaguely remember that.
yeah, they didn't
We didn't
really
even talk. I vaguely remember him saying, it's so weird. I'm not making it up. I
Yeah.
vaguely remember you saying, I can't believe that he's not, or something like
Right.
that. You
Yeah,
were like, what the
because-
hell happened?
Yeah, they obviously. I was an actor for hire as well. I mean,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
weren't really
yeah.
talking to me in that way. I just remember they came up to me like, "Hey, we got a new actor to play this," and I was like,
Okay.
"What?" I was like, "Oh, okay." It was like, "Yeah, we had the table read. We didn't feel meshed, and
Yeah.
it was the table read."
So right, and you got the same story too. Yeah.
Said it was
yeah.
a table read.
Yeah.
Didn't mesh. We didn't.
Well, I'll tell you something. Look,
And I was
here's
like-
the deal. Look, we've all had those experiences.
Okay.
And I remember, look, it was not, I feel like today there's so many excuses made and so many get out of jail free cards, but there's something to be learned about humility. We've all been in that
Yeah.
situation.
Oh yeah,
Oh
dude.
my
I've been
gosh.
I've been on that end.
Oh,
of,
dude, I remember as a little kid.
gosh.
I remember because I like going to the table reads for Give Me a Break with like these legends that I worked with in the 80s,
Oh
right?
my
With
God.
with like, people that had done, I mean, Hal Cooper, who directed Mary Tyler Moore and Maude, and I mean, legends, right? I'm sitting there and I had a lot of lines. I was like 6 years old. And I remember them talking to me going, hey, let me tell you something. If you don't nail these lines,
I
I'm
know.
cutting them.
I know.
Now, look,
As a
people
6-year-old.
can say, oh, it's hard, it's cutthroat, but you know what? I learned from a very young age
Yeah.
that you got to take things, you got to be a pro,
Yeah.
you got to be on your game,
Yeah.
you got to have humility, and you got to be appreciative.
Yeah.
You have to.
I know.
Because there's
Anytime
there's-
I've gotten into the any of the lanes you just discussed, man, did I get a
they
big slap in the
eviscerate. No, they
face.
eviscerate you.
Woo!
Right. But that
Man, I
teaches you
learned my
something.
lessons.
That teaches you something.
Yeah.
It gives you a little bit of thick skin.
Yeah, it
right.
does.
It also makes you kind of step back and realize. And how many times have you heard there are 500 guys
Oh my gosh.
just like you,
Oh my
maybe
gosh.
better,
Yeah.
that are dying to have this part.
100%.
So if you don't want it, we'll give it to one of them.
You're right,
I've been
Joe.
told
Yeah.
that.
No,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
more than I can count on two hands.
I
And I
remember.
loved it. At the time, I thought like, what the hell is this? This is a jerk. But,
No.
but like,
Yeah.
I'm so thankful.
Well, because what happened next?
'Cause
You
then-
go, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. Okay.
All right,
dude.
I gotta nail it.
Oh my gosh, I gotta nail this.
I,
oh my! And then you're like, and then the ego kicks in the good way, which is it fuels you to
be
now
better.
prove that
To be
guy
better.
wrong or
Exactly.
prove that person, and gives you fuel, and that's when ego is a good thing.
Yep.
I had a
agree.
similar experience
Yeah.
with High School Musical. I
yeah.
did a bunch of Disney movies, and I came off of one that was like a very dramatic one that was like nominated for daytime Emmys. I played a blind wrestler. It was all this stuff. really into making trying to make good movies for Disney Channel and not the stereotypical kind of goofier kids movies, And so I got an audition for High School Musical, and I had a really good chance of getting it. Kenny Ortega knew the family. Kenny Ortega knew all of us anyway.
Yeah.
So I go to the audition. I make it all the way up, right, testing and everything with Zach and Vanessa, and I really thought that it was going to be goofy. I was like, I can't see myself.
That is
I was like,
amazing.
I was like, this is going to be so goofy that I wish it was more like Grease, but it's not going to be Grease. It's going to be goofy. And honestly, it was kind of goofy. However, huge success. So anyway, I went in and I kind of just had an attitude and I didn't bomb the audition, but I was kind of just not.
You weren't
really,
on your A game.
Wasn't on my A game. I wasn't
A.
super friendly and I wasn't very appreciative to be there. Really, honestly, I was just thinking it was goofy and I could do something cooler. And they were like, "Yeah, you're not. Get out of here. Get the heck out of here." And I think it was the last time I did a Disney movie too, which was.
Well, so we're comparing.
Yeah,
war stories.
buddy.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
There
We were
was,
assholes.
I have another one now that
Crazy.
we're on that subject. So I originally read American Pie and actually passed on it.
Dude, that's a.
And
good
but
one.
again, I got to the bottle,
amazing, man?
kid, and I'm like, I'm doing Shakespeare. So this Shakespeare thing got a little in my head
Isn't
for a
that
minute
crazy?
there,
No,
Isn't
dude,
that
you were
crazy?
doing. I mean, you were an O too, dude.
Dude, yeah,
O was great.
yeah.
Dude, those are like those
Actually,
are.
O is in. Have you seen it? It's. I mean, you've seen it, but I've watched it again, and it's.
Dude,
Yeah, dude.
no,
It's
I
nutty.
know.
It
Like
is.
I'm like
It's-
looking at this going. Those were. I mean, when it
You
comes,
can't
to
make
like,
a movie like that now.
No,
you cannot.
You know what I mean?
No.
And we couldn't. And actually, I don't know if you know this little fact, but basically, we did it right before Columbine happened.
Ooh.
So because of what was going on, it was a
gosh.
Weinstein picture actually originally for Miramax.
my
So he
goodness.
shelved it. And so the producers had to literally take him to court for 2 years to get the movie out. The movie would have never seen the light of
I didn't
day
even
if
know
it
that.
wasn't for
Wow.
because they didn't want there's a shooting in the movie
Of
at
course.
the end. So
Right, no, I know.
yeah. So I interesting because you're not that kind of movie is in a time capsule
my
because
gosh,
you can't
yeah.
Right.
really do that.
Right.
No.
I did meet on that one. I did meet the directors, and then I got it, and I was like, yes, okay, I'm down. Let's do it. They flew me down from where we were filming 10 Things, but then when we flew back, they had to schedule it, and there was, I guess, a conflict on one of the bands that we didn't have for 10 Things, so it ended up not working out at the end of the day. And then Thomas Ian Nicholas,
Wow. Yes.
Thomas Ian Nicholas played that.
Of course, I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see it 100%.
Wow.
You know?
Interesting. It's interesting. Yeah. How many things could, I mean, you
I
hear
know.
some of these stories.
Yeah.
That's why we're having the podcast right now, is to
Of
tell you our
course.
stories,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
You got another one?
No.
Oh, I'm good. I think
Yeah, I'm
think
done
I
now.
think I
Yeah, I know.
I think
Now
that the
done.
vibe is like down here.
No,
It's like,
we-
oh yeah, so we've all been fired.
Our water all of a sudden on the wide shot turns
Well,
like tea, but it's like whiskey. We're all drinking.
Just pop bottles, yeah. Harrison Ford, I recently
Right.
heard, was set to play Sam Neill in Jurassic Park,
Wow.
and that fell through. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
That was that's an interesting one. And then LL Cool J was set to play Blade, and then they
What?
replaced him with
Denzel
Wesley
or
Snipes.
Snipes.
Mm.
Crazy.
Yeah, isn't
Well,
that wild?
yeah. I had a couple stories like that, but mine were that I was still that the TV world back in the 90s was still so hell bent on not letting their actors
Yeah.
do movies
Right.
that they didn't let me out to do movies that I got. So I missed out on a couple of really great films that I could have done that I don't even know if they turned out to be good films, but it would have been fun to do them.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to do them because
Well, you guys you especially always worked though.
I always work, but
Yeah, you always work.
Always,
but
though.
like,
Just
like
but like-
always.
Oh, it's
no,
sparked.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, man, it's weird. It's yes, but man, it's been the work that it takes to keep the work going is tremendously difficult. Like I've never had one of those careers that's just like you just roll from one
Yeah, it's
show to the
true.
next and da. It's been a lot of work in between to keep it going. It's been 4 years, but it's been ups and downs for sure.
We were talking earlier. So I got my SAG card at 5 or 6 years old as well.
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
But
Yep.
you were doing actual sitcoms at that age. I
Right.
actually worked with Haley Joel Osment. He was
Oh, yeah.
6 on.
Mm.
We were next to Home Improvement, Thunder Alley.
Okay.
Mm.
So, and that director was Robbie Benson. Did you ever work with him?
Did work with Robbie Benson.
of course.
Yes.
At that time, probably
yes,
too,
I
right?
did.
So, how tough was he?
He's tough, dude.
Oh, man.
I mean,
Brutal.
back to your story.
Brutal.
This,
No, he doesn't take any.
So
Nope.
you were 6. I was 16,
Yeah.
working with Ed Asner, and then a 6-year-old Haley Joel Osment, and I saw we were all in tears.
Oh,
at
he's
times,
brutal.
But it was.
He's tough. He's like a
tough.
colonel. He's like tough.
Yeah.
Give me down, give me 40. He's like, what? Push-ups. No, he's not, but he does mess around.
And he was a child actor as well.
Yeah, he was.
But again, that was his process. And I think, as you were mentioning earlier, how it fortifies you to this industry at that time. And
it does.
If you either make it or break it, you know what I mean? If you
does.
can't handle it, like, we've got things to do here. This is a job. And you got to explain that to a 6-year-old. I would be surprised if there weren't tears, as a parent now. Like, okay, I'm not your, if I'm directing the kid, I'm not your parent. Know your damn lines, okay? Because I got a job here and I hired you. You know what I mean? Like, I get all of that from an adult parent perspective, but it doesn't make it any different that it's sort of a challenging experience. And
It is challenging. That's how you get a little thick skin, and you got to, look, it's not.
It's probably made us better in the senses of like life. We were ready earlier. We're not,
Look, it's
dilly-dallying around in our 20s.
The big baby thing doesn't work. It doesn't play. You're not preparing. And I go through this because I have 3 daughters.
You made me do a movie called Big Baby.
I did.
It was your fault. It was
did.
terrible.
I didn't want
the movie wasn't. I mean, look, everyone knows
that story between.
Like, who's going to be great in this?
Wait, do you know the story?
He turned down.
Drag him down.
Wait, time out. He backed out of the movie. He's like, listen, I can't do the movie, but my brother can. And I'm like, I guess I could do it.
They put him in a diaper, dude.
Hold on. Do you know the spat between Arnold and Stallone about how Arnold got?
That's like my mom. Don't shoot her. So there's a story that Schwarzenegger is actually highly intelligent and very competitive, right? Bodybuilding, obviously.
Right.
So when him and Stallone were going neck and neck, they always would outdo each other. If you look at the chronological order of their movies, they always had bigger guns. Like Arnold, eventually I'm walking around with a gun that's supposed to be on a helicopter, right?
Well, wait a minute.
And I'm just holding it.
Yeah, because Stallone had done Rambo, so then he does Commando.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, I will hold the big gun.
And they always kill more people. Yeah. Like the body count of their movies goes up.
Shot 45 people in the scene. I went to shoot 50.
Stop or my mom will shoot. Supposedly, Stallone read this, or Schwarzenegger read that script and was like, this is the most terrible script I've ever read. Stupid. I hate it. He's like, but I got an idea. Leak it. That I'm going to do it. That I love it. It's the best script in Hollywood. I swear to God, this is true. He tells the story.
Yeah, it's a true story.
He's on record saying this.
Yes.
And Stallone heard that and was like, I want that movie. I want to do that script. Like, Schwarzenegger can't have another bigger hit than me. I want to do that movie. Yeah. So then Schwarzenegger was like, no, I don't want to do it. Let him do it. Stallone did it. And then after it came out, Schwarzenegger on like Leno was like, I didn't do it because it's terrible. And I knew he was going to do it. I knew it.
He's so stupid.
He's so stupid.
What was the movie?
Don't stop or my mom will shoot.
It's Estelle Getty.
Estelle Getty. Yeah, it's like the worst.
It was the worst name. I didn't even know that was the title. I thought you were just.
I know.
It is the worst film
true story.
ever. It's horrific.
It's unreal.
Yeah. So this is our little local family.
Yeah. So Joe and I are like Schwarzenegger and Stallone.
Yeah, it's our local thing. Yeah,
bail it out and made me do it.
I did bail out of that one, but there were some that I couldn't do that I was really upset about, and it didn't turn out to be that great. But Batman and Robin, I got Robin, and Robin.
They made Chris O'Donnell look like you watch the movie. He's in like
on my screen test, the ripped jeans,
a flannel
shirt. I
had
just buzzed my head. I had the leather jacket with all of the jewelry and everything. Literally, that's how I went in and tested for it. I got an NBC would not let me out to do that movie. Now, it didn't end up being that great. I think it was Batman Forever is where he comes in.
No, it was still Val Kilmer.
I was so excited.
I was told as far as the American Pie one that's why they literally cast Thomas, because we looked alike.
Oh my god!
So it was like, all right, we're gonna get.
That's what I was saying. Let's see it.
Yeah, we're like, we could be brothers.
Yeah,
we could be.
Dude, that's wild. Yeah,
you guys could.
You totally could be actually. Dude, that's insane.
Chris's head was not shit. Like they literally gave him the sideburns. Like when I saw that movie,
you were like,
I was like,
I'm being plagiarized.
This is literally. We were sitting in the theater.
Oh yeah, I was like,
remember Matt going, Joe. That's literally. I mean, dude, he comes up on the motorcycle with the leather jacket. I mean, dude, he was like. The ripped jeans?
Yeah, it was exact.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is literally me. It's so funny.
Well, see, these things you wouldn't know without a podcast.
It's true.
Right? So that's why we're here, just kind of digging up all the.
I got a fun list of.
Oh, good.
I mean,
you dug it up. I gotta be.
This is all.
True,
it's true.
actually.
It's true. It's all you. But that's good.
Well, I figured if we're here, I want to. I
love it. I didn't know that. That's a great story.
Because I was driving.
Keegan's doing some of the heavy lifting for us, guys.
Nice.
I'm just training for my podcast, which I got to tell you.
There you go. No,
podcast plan. Dude, you can. Everybody's got one.
Everybody
we
should have
jumped
one.
on the train.
You see,
real late,
what's going to
you know?
happen is when I'm on it, it's just going to take it all down, just like
No.
the Stallone thing. It's just, that's going to be it. They're like,
Exactly,
no,
yeah.
we're canceling it.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, you got a podcast? I want a podcast. The worst podcast.
There are a lot of podcasts.
There's
There's
too
too
many.
many. Too many.
Did you know that Johnny Depp's Edward Scissorhands, originally Tom Cruise was set to play that role, and then Vivian Ward was originally cast in Pretty Woman.
Oh yes.
Han Solo was there was a real chance that Pacino was going to play Han Solo.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Brad
I
Pitt.
love you. You know.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's De Niro.
No,
Oh,
Pacino.
Pacino.
Remember that?
Oh, that's right.
I know. I love you too.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that Death Star's a big ship?
You know what I love? You know what I love is that.
Oh my God!
You know what's amazing?
Hey man, we got to bring. It's a space
you know what's
odyssey
amazing?
thing.
Have you ever seen Al Pacino talk about his performance in Heat? You know, he's like in that movie. He's like, you got a big ass, and you're all up in it. And it's his performance, and he's like, one like round table. They asked me, he was like, you know, I gotta say this. You know, I didn't want to play it that big, but he was on cocaine the whole time.
He's like, we made a choice.
We made a choice.
I was cracking rocks on
all
the side.
time, but we never showed it in the
But
movie.
we never
In
showed
Heat?
In
Yes.
Heat, he's a drug. He's doing drugs.
It's like an
Doing
internal
drugs.
monologue.
No,
it's just
actually
not.
He's actually
He's
on
actually on the character
is on
actually
That's what I'm
cocaine.
saying. It's like,
But he is too as an actor. though.
No, he was
Oh,
playing it.
I see what you're saying.
so you're
Okay.
saying Pacino's a
But-
drug addict?
No.
Right.
You're
right.
saying it.
No.
You guys are
Pacino,
saying
actually, Pacino is a very sensitive, quiet
Yes.
guy.
he is very
He's
sensitive.
super
that was a
sensitive and
performance that it was a choice, and because
Yeah.
there was a scene where supposedly kind of sort of see he's doing something, and Michael Mann just took it out and left the performance to stand on its own, and now
Interesting.
he was kind of like, I gotta be honest, we gotta let the cat out of the bag here. People think I gave this crazy. He's supposed to be doing all these drugs. That's why I gave that.
That's funny. Wow, I didn't know that.
Isn't that
story.
crazy? Yeah.
Jason Bourne, originally supposed to be played by Brad Pitt.
Ooh,
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yep.
That would work.
that would work.
That would work.
That would work.
Yep, it would work.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that era, Pitt.
Oh, Neo was written for Will Smith.
What?
The Matrix.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah, that was his movie.
That was
Yes,
supposed to be his
that's
movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I knew that.
We can end it with Leo was set to play Patrick Bateman in American Psycho,
Yeah, I remember that.
which would have been pretty.
Oh.
They're doing another American Psycho's coming out, right?
I think they are.
Yes, but that is the Christian Bale version. They're redoing that
They're
version.
redoing that version.
Yeah, and you know who's playing it?
Shit.
Austin, buddy.
Oh wow,
Oh, yeah,
Austin Butler.
Austin.
That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's Matt.
Matt's
He
very
He
enthusiastic.
gets paid when he says his name.
Yeah, I was about
too.
to say.
No,
Austin literally zells him every
I
time
know.
he says
No.
his name.
I know.
It's the worst.
Jim Carrey was set
That's
to play
great.
Buddy the Elf. That would have been interesting.
Wow.
So was Chris Farley. The movie was actually developed
yeah,
for Chris
I know.
Farley.
I've heard that,
Ooh.
dude.
But then he passed away, and it was and then the
Oh, that's wild. That was a
Isn't that
long
wild?
time.
Mhm.
It was.
Development. I know.
Right.
Craziness.
I mean, well, yeah.
Matthew McConaughey was supposed to play Leonardo DiCaprio's role in Titanic.
Everybody
What?
was up for that. Yeah.
I think that's just everybody
That
was
would
up
have been
for.
such an interesting
everybody
one.
was up for that. They
Yeah,
had
everyone.
like 7 people that I read that story.
Have you heard
Oh.
Joaquin Phoenix talk about the auditioning process with Leonardo DiCaprio?
No.
The story's amazing. What he tells, he's like, so he's kind of like an awkward. So I'm going out for auditions, and I keep hearing it's like this figment of my imagination, this legend, this Leonardo DiCaprio. Who's this Leonardo DiCaprio? And Leonardo DiCaprio walks in, and of course he gets the role, and he walks out. And now every single audition I go to, I'm like, damn it, it's that Leonardo DiCaprio guy again. So
Yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio literally.
I have a small truncated version of that story with Steven Dorff, where Steven Dorff got 2 films. It was down to me and him for 2 of his films. No joke, okay? One of them was The Power of One, which was horrible. And another one was another one. But it was down to Steven Dorff and I. So wait a minute, here's a funny story.
Joe
so
is-
cut to a year later.
Mortal rival.
No, a year later.
George?
I'm like,
Spit my water out
I'm like,
oh my God.
anyway, so, and I was very competitive, so I didn't like to lose out, especially when I'm down to the end. It's me and Steven Dorff. And the first one, they're giving it to the other guy. And I was like, all right, Steven Dorff. The next movie came up, and it was down to me and him again. I'm like, I'm going to get this one. And they were going with Steven Dorff because he did the last one. I'm like, Steven Dorff, man, this guy. All right.
And it's just that kind of name that you
Yeah.
can't even
like
hold
Dorff.
your
I
water
just
in.
feel like Dorff.
I know.
killed
God, you
this.
got Dorf.
Yeah,
Just
dude,
when you
I
say it,
can totally
just whenever
Dorf.
my
You got
Joe
Dorf.
says Stephen Dwarf,
Yeah.
it makes me
Stephen
laugh.
Dorf. So
Dorfed.
So wait, so then cut to like
Dwarfed
a
by
year,
Dorf.
Yeah, cut to like a year later or something, and Blossom was a big hit show, and they had everybody on that show playing Mayim's Blossom's boyfriend. We had James Marsden, everybody was on this show. Every young guy
Yeah.
that was like in the kind of came on the show. Okay. So Stephen Dorff comes on to play an episode of the show, and I'm like, and I had experienced a little bit of success. So I'm like, I swear to God. So I was being very nice. I have no ego about that stuff. But he comes on the set, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna just
Kill him with
I'm
kindness.
gonna put this behind him because I'm doing pretty good. So I come up to him like, hey man, welcome to the show. Right? Just being nice. And he goes, hey, what's up? Have you gone out for any movies lately that I booked? And I was like,
No.
No way.
yeah, that was the first thing he said to me.
Dude, you know those
On my
slapping,
show,
you know those
on my
slap,
set.
you know those
I was
slapping
like,
competitions?
This guy.
You know those slapping competitions?
power slap, dude. I love
is
power
a
slap, yeah.
lot. That is
Have you gone out for any movies lately that I've booked? I was like, Steve, tell you something, buddy. Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's
I'll
You
never
gotta give him
forget-
some credit. He's got some. You
Wow.
know,
Like, and by the way, we never had
on
any
your
beef.
set, on your show.
Yes.
You're
Wait.
from Philly. What was he
Yeah,
thinking?
I don't even know. But like you said, there was no social media, so we didn't have any beef. Like I wasn't internally. I was like,
It
pissed.
sounds like you got some.
Yeah, I
beef.
know.
No, but
yeah.
internally,
Just like
I
that.
was like pissed that I lost the parts because I was like,
Right,
what are
right.
these parts? One
It's
was for a
competition.
boxer, and I was like, I was in good shape. I was like, there's no way. And he wasn't in good shape, and he still got it. And I was like, there's no way they gave it to him. He's gonna have to do push-ups and pull-ups. I'm already right there. Look at me, I'm ready. Anyway, so anyway, I couldn't believe it. I thought, all right, it was been a year, or something. I was being so nice, like, welcome to the show, bud. And he was like, he said that to me, and I was like, I was floored. I was like, oh my God. I'm not a confrontational guy, but I was like, it's okay.
You're saying, okay, excuse me a minute. You go to your dresser, you hit pillows. Yes.
Yeah. Get me a headshot of Stephen Dorff, and then I just drew all over. No, I didn't.
So
yeah.
the point is, Stephen Dorff, are you out there? You
Yeah.
want to come on the show?
Come on the
Yes.
pod,
What do you think?
Steven.
Can you
Come on,
handle all
Steve.
three of them?
It's
Yeah.
time.
Clear the
and
air.
the fourth one?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be.
air it out with the
Try-
boys and Keegan.
I'll be the in between. I'll be in the
exactly,
between.
exactly right. Yeah.
God,
anyway,
we-
how crazy is that, right?
Yeah. No. I
So-
mean, there was.
There's always stuff like that. You do this long enough, there's always stuff like that. And I don't know, who, whatever. But it's just, it is so funny because it is like, there is competition out there. You want these things. It
Yeah,
means
of
something
course,
to you.
especially that time because it
Yes,
was like
you
Yeah,
wanna
I know.
win.
It was very
Winning is
competitive.
good.
It was.
Yeah.
It was the whole thing. It
And
still
when you
is.
get down to
but,
the
you
end,
know.
it's almost like you'd rather have a blowout where you just weren't right, you got blown out. When you get all the way to the end, it's
a tough loss. Yeah.
Well,
of course.
and you can't help but emotionally connect to the experience too. Because I went
course.
in once, they liked me. I went in twice.
Yep.
Ooh, they like me. They're taking me to the studio. Oh,
Right.
they really, really like me. I'm going to the network, and I
There you
don't
go.
get it. And you're just like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just
Jeez, I know.
spent
My whole
Back
life.
then, they were,
I've
you know,
lost
my
my-
emotions.
I've
like,
lost relationships.
but there's no
Yeah.
there's
I
no
know.
consolary
No.
thing.
No.
I mean, maybe they like you and they put you in something else. But I'm saying the
Maybe.
point of the matter is,
Maybe.
the end of that little run,
Yeah.
you're just like holding your,
And you
what?
start to
Yeah.
see it when you're at that point. You're like, this is gonna be so great. You start to imagine like,
Yeah.
maybe this boxer, and it's gonna be so cool, and
Yeah.
You get emotionally invested.
invested.
Oh,
You do,
yeah,
you
for
do, you
sure.
do. So anyway, and like I said, there was,
If you're supposed to be doing it, if you really care,
yeah,
then you do get emotionally invested. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole point.
And I
know?
But
think
it's
that's the
whether
thing.
or not you can stomach the constant rejection,
And that's the
That's
thing.
it.
That some
Look,
can't,
I-
don't.
no.
people
well,
don't.
you know?
People.
No,
one of
not
the
well.
hardest things for people to understand is, especially today, because social media makes things look like it's.
So easy.
I know.
Yeah. It's like
Do this and you'll be a millionaire tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I'm gonna act now. Oh, okay, cool. And they
Yeah.
give them the chances. Crazy enough,
Yeah.
they're not good usually, but they give them the chances. And I think what's amazing is they don't see that first of all, you're in business for yourself, right? And being self-employed is always tough, right? There's a trade-off. Yes, you don't have a boss, but you do every time you get actually hired. You have bosses, many of them.
Yeah.
But in between, you're freelance, just trying to make it work. But the product is also you, which is a very strange thing.
Yeah, you're not selling something that some major
Right,
corporation made.
right.
You're
So,
selling
you want to sell. You're selling cars. Sure, you want to sell that car. You get a commission. But the car's not you. Like if they don't like the car, you don't take it personally.
No,
They're
you're not
like,
gonna.
you know what? I don't like this car. I get it. Okay, it's not for
There's
you.
another car.
Right.
Yeah.
But the product is actually
We're the cars.
yours.
Yeah.
We are the
Yes.
cars.
Is that what we're getting at?
Yeah,
cars.
we're the
So we're the
cars.
So it's like, I mean, and the crazy business. I was told back going, I'll never forget this. Back when you had the audition process and all these things, you were told one day I was too East Coast. I swear to God, I had an audition an hour later. I was not East Coast enough.
Oh yeah.
Same day.
Well, I know. I went out for. I said this
What-
before, but I went out for a young Joey Lawrence and I didn't get it. I'm like, I'm genetically, I'm close. I'm the closest you're gonna get.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was thinking of the same thing. For me, I'm half Colombian and half, German Czech, so half white. So it was always more like not ethnic enough,
Too
too
ethnic?
ethnic,
Ridiculous.
not ethnic
Yeah,
enough.
I know.
too-
wild, man.
And I'm like never in the middle, right?
I
Never
know.
like. I mean,
Isn't that wild? It's so true.
So,
man.
I got it real quick though. I want to spend a minute or two. We got to talk more about surfing because you
Yeah.
are. I love surfing.
Let's,
Oh, you
let's-
surf?
let's
I surf.
close on
I mean,
surfing.
I use a lot. I'm not a very good surfer. I'm not up to your stature. I learned in Waimea Bay on a longboard, so I tootle around. But
Well, so I actually. This sweatshirt was gifted to me from Kelly Slater.
no way.
No
And it's
way.
50th
I know
birthday.
Kelly Slater
Okay,
is.
we know Kelly Slater. We
No
got him in.
way.
We got him in.
Ding.
It's like
He
I was like,
pays him.
I'm coming
KS50,
with
bro.
the boys. I'm gonna
Dude,
wear my favorite. This is
KS50.
that's his. Yeah, his
No
50th
way,
birthday.
bro.
This is
His
the,
wave pools are insane.
The island I'm talking about, Tabarua. So
Oh
I started really young. I mean, even when we go back to the teen days, I was the guy in the magazines with my surf.
Yeah, you always wear
I
surf.
remember
Yeah.
those pictures.
Yeah,
for
dude.
sure.
Yes.
Sometimes shirt off, which regrettable.
So funny,
But,
dude. You were
too
always-
early. I hadn't hit the gym yet. You would be like, no, I'm really skinny, and it was embarrassing. There's those photos, but whatever. But yeah, so yeah, Tavarua is amazing, and surfing. Yeah, so I went there 15 years ago with Kelly. That's why I brought it up. Wow. Like a vacation week. So it was like 30, 40, 50 people there. Everybody's in burrows. They have a main, food area. But yeah, the surfing experience and the culture and being able to travel the world, and of course being in Hawaii, tropical places. I mean,
It's the best, bro.
it's
the best.
the culture of it is amazing. So I hadn't been back for 15 years. A friend was like, "Oh, like come down this couple months ago." And I'm like, my daughter's 8 now, turning 9. So I was like, it's been 15 years. Let me go back.
Yeah.
We got the best waves. Like, I mean,
Dude, that's
Awesome.
so
I sent them
cool.
to you.
Yeah,
and,
dude.
and
So
just
cool.
the experience. Like I'm actually like the owner's a friend, and I'm like, I want to do a week because that's how it is. You bring all the people that you know. So
Dude.
I'm thinking,
Dude,
No!
don't
let's
threaten-
do a
don't
little
threat-
retreat.
Don't
You know
threaten
what
me
I'm
with a good
saying?
time,
I'm
bro.
getting goosebumps.
Okay,
I'm there,
okay,
man.
Because here's the thing too about the island that people don't know. You see the photos that I sent you, right? Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But there's other waves that are easy, like
Fantastic,
like
yeah.
Waikiki
Yeah.
waves. There's also the whole island. There's a clam sanctuary there that they run. So there's like canoeing, kayaking, what's that? Foil boarding. So I mean, there's so many things to do.
Sounds
You know what I
amazing,
mean?
dude.
But it's a really unique experience. I
Yeah.
think I would say of all the places, not that I've traveled that much, but of all the places I've ever been to, it's got to be one of the best places in the world.
That's
you know
awesome,
what I mean?
dude. Yeah.
So I'm like thinking about doing some kind of retreat, maybe
Dude,
bring
so
some people
great.
down. So if
Dude,
you
do it,
guys-
man.
let
Oh,
us
I'm
know.
so
Bring the
in, man.
kids.
Let
you
us
know
know.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Let
dude.
us know.
We could do the podcast from there. Who
We
knows?
can.
Who knows?
We
Who
can.
knows?
Dude, we
podcast.
could
I'd
totally.
I'd love.
pull
Yeah,
that
we'd
off.
love it. We'd love it. Keep us
We'll
posted.
take
We're in.
Sam with us. He's like, oh, God.
Sam, you up
This
for
one's-
you up for
Sam,
surfing?
No, he's like, I'm in.
All of a sudden,
All of a sudden.
Sam's
Wow.
awake.
I haven't seen him smile.
I just
Yeah.
got a text. Hey, my God, he just sent me his frequent flyer miles.
Yeah,
What
wait
the
a
hell
minute.
is
He's
this?
smiling now.
Look at his freaking phone number. Look at this.
TSA pre.
Right. Oh, Sam.
Well, so
Stop
you've
it.
surfed before. Have you never surfed?
No.
Never?
Dude,
So what about that?
Yeah.
that would be so fun.
I think that would be like a
incredible.
spiritual experience.
That would be
Yeah,
where,
never
incredible.
tried it.
where are the breaks? Like, because in Hawaii, I was just when I actually did. A couple guys actually took me surfing. I said I surfed, but I didn't. And I'm like 30 minutes out paddling into this break, and I'm like, I can't see land. My neck's cramping up. My back is burning. I'm like, what the hell
Where
is?
am I? So there, in the islands, the breaks are on the reefs. So it depends,
exactly.
right? But usually it's a boat ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a boat ride.
Okay. Cool.
And these boats are really fast, like maybe 11, 12 minutes. But you're out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
It's a reef.
As long as
that's
there's a boat that takes you there.
right there, but you're just in the middle of the ocean.
It's epic.
I had
It's
an-
amazing.
I had an
It's
amazing
epic.
one experience with the owner. We got up a little bit early, so we were out there at like 5:30, and the sun's just coming up.
Dude,
Nobody
it's the
else is
best,
out
dude.
there.
Yeah, it's
just me and him, and the waves that I showed you, like head high. Just pick whichever one you want.
Oh
so
my gosh.
after all of this surfing, like we've been talking about acting, but like I just enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
But to have gotten those particular waves in that place, because I've been there twice before. and It
Right.
was nice. It was great. But this was just like
That's cool.
Perfect.
all time. So now I'm kind of on a. Oh yeah.
high.
By the way, we should introduce the.
Oh
dog.
yeah,
know.
Mochi.
I brought my little puppy. Well, it's not my. It's my daughter's dog. So
I know.
She's so cute,
yeah,
dude.
she's been here just.
If you can see, Shmi is literally laying, longing for her
like-
underneath the
just laying
table.
and looking at her.
Yeah, he
the
just
whole
has to
time.
put her
Look
down. Look at the little
He hasn't
smile.
snored a peep.
No, yeah.
He's
To be loved. To be loved.
He won't
we
take-
should give the dogs voices and put them
I
into.
know.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's
Wow,
my.
I am, dude.
But
it's
it's
amazing.
There's actually one photo which kind of reminds me of what I was saying. Is like it's just when you're in that particular kind of a surfing experience, you're getting in the wave, and there's just this like different sound, and just you're planted in. I mean, obviously you're moving, but it's like you're just for a moment. You're in whatever your version of Zen is. It's just like,
dude, that's awesome.
oh, you know what I mean? Like that's
awesome.
the feeling, awing. You know.
Yep.
So
You've been
100%.
surfing for how many years?
started young, like 11, 12.
Wow.
That's awesome.
But at the
dude.
same time, like
crazy.
I said, coming out there, there's so many
Dude, yeah.
other
I can
little
drive a car.
waves.
I
I
can
mean-
drive a mean car. I'm
Even
very
just
good.
idling on a board, like
it's
in,
fun.
in the water, is
Yeah.
just
just that is
so
it's
much
so
beauty.
beautiful. Yeah,
Wow.
it's a spiritual experience for
Well,
sure.
maybe everybody can come.
that would
We
be
should
amazing.
just, or at least a few people from the pod. So if anybody wants to come, just send
Yeah.
a
that
little.
would be epic.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible.
Actually, speaking of which, did you guys ever do those cruises that we did back in the day?
No.
we talked about that.
We've
We
talked
never
about it.
did.
We never did
it,
one.
dude.
Oh, you
I
guys
know.
were so
No.
okay. So that was traumatized.
I we kind of figured.
yeah,
it might be,
yeah. I don't know
'Cause you're
what.
locked up, right? You can't.
I remember this.
I'm such an adventurer guy that I would need like to like.
Well,
I would want to.
we went like I think one was in Alaska.
Well,
you
that's
know what I
pretty
mean?
cool.
So we got off the
That's
ship,
really cool.
but it was being on the ship with
Yeah.
I don't know, a couple hundred teeny bumpers,
Oh,
and like
I
you're in the,
I never did those.
you were a little bit older at the time and
Yeah.
wiser, clearly.
Yeah.
It was just like a free trip. That's how they
Yeah.
enticed you. Like,
Right.
we're
Yeah.
going to-
course.
and then of course your parents are like, well, I want to go to Alaska. Let's go. You know, and you're just
Yeah.
like, but do you understand? I have to live on a boat where
Oh.
like your room is the size of this, and
Oh
then
my goodness.
you're with
Yes.
kids all day. So
oh my God.
it was always fine, but it was not exactly what I
Yeah.
would want to do. And needless to say, I've never been on a ship again.
Yeah.
Can't. I
I
tried
know.
one time, and I'm like,
I'm
I
not
can't.
a big fan of
No, I'm
the
not a
cruise
big.
ships.
Yeah, me
No.
neither, man.
So in other words, no sponsorship from any of the
Princess
ship
Cruise.
companies.
Well, we'll do it. Don't get me
I
wrong.
mean, right
Yeah,
now,
we'll
yeah,
do it.
going on a free trip. On the other hand,
There's a hard cut.
Alaska, here we come.
All our hats are now
Just carnival.
Your carnival.
No, we're just
Carousel.
on. We're on a cruise ship, broadcasting
wait,
from
could
one.
you imagine
Yeah.
all of us on a cruise?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Ship,
gosh.
That would be an experience.
gosh, you
anyway,
guys.
well, we would love.
Wow.
We would love to.
Dude,
don't threaten us with a good time, man.
Let's make that Fiji
Let's-
thing happen.
let's
I'm
put
gonna
it
stay
out there,
on you to make that
and
happen.
that would be really
And by the
cool.
way, compliments to him. He's stayed on this
Yes.
for
Yes.
weeks and weeks.
I have.
And I'm
Yes.
like,
I
he's a
know.
great
No, he-
producer.
no, he-
and
he
told me
I'm
I know.
terrible, by the way, and I
No,
want to apologize. I'm
no,
just like,
we
oh, I don't know
appreciate
if I
you,
can
dude.
do
We
that.
appreciate you
on
coming
the
out.
opposite side, I'm the same as
Dude,
you.
we're all the same.
So
Yeah.
that's why I
Yeah.
know, like, I
Yeah,
try
yeah.
to do my job as politely as possible. I just keep
one of
saying
my
it.
one of my dear
Yeah, exactly.
friends, one of my dear friends lives like about 2 hours away from here. Okay, literally, it's taken me 3 years.
Right.
You know,
Dude.
he's like, please come down. I'm like, oh my God,
One of my-
I want to, and you want to, you genuinely
Yeah,
do.
it's just
but
life.
It's just like life.
One of my
man. You're
best
like,
friends
I
is
can't
Dustin
do it.
Milligan, and it
Do
took me literally a year. Like he lives right down the street. It took me a year and a half to get it. He's like one of my best buddies. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, get over here.
Yeah.
Come on. So we
So-
appreciate you making the
True,
time
we
to
do,
come
man.
out.
Yeah.
no,
You
Yeah.
know
of
it's a
course.
trek. You're
LA,
welcome
and nobody
anytime,
likes to
obviously.
leave their little township in LA.
It's the worst, bro.
It's like that saying.
Dude, I
LA
live 17 miles from here. It took me an hour.
Well, I was
Literally.
gonna say the saying is LA is 1 hour from LA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's exactly
Yes.
right.
Do you remember when it used to be you could get anywhere in LA in 20 minutes?
Yeah.
It was pandemic. Right?
And I guess you're right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, no, I had a blast, and it's
Yeah,
just
thanks, man.
like I said, it always felt like we knew each other, but
Yeah.
didn't ever
Really
until,
connect like
yeah,
that.
until
Yeah.
the con, which
I
was
know.
nice. And
Crazy.
I know.
speaking of the cons, those are wildly nice. Like it's
They
just
are.
nice. It's
Yeah,
kind of
they
wild
are.
to see
I
people
know.
and reconnect. And
It is weird. It's like
know.
it's like a little like summer camp.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I feel like it's Indian summer. You ever
Yeah.
see that
well,
movie?
I was gonna say, even if I think about the 10 Things experience too, we were kind of sequestered to Seattle or Tacoma. And it's like, yeah, we were all in a hotel. So it's
Yeah.
actually very similar to a
It is.
filming experience,
Mhm.
right?
It is.
Without
true.
all of the, different work, I should say. 'cause
Yeah.
It's work, but it's also great in the fans. Like we never, you
No.
did because you did more sitcoms. Like sitcoms, you got that
True.
instantaneous
Yes, you do.
feedback.
You do.
But at the films, you don't. I mean,
You
like,
do.
even if you get a premiere, or you have a premiere. I don't even think we had a premiere for 10 Things. So it's like,
You
you
don't
just
even know.
kind of comes
Yeah.
and goes,
Isn't
and
that
then
wild?
people
Yeah.
Eventually it
one-off
becomes
start. Yeah,
part
like
of-
I saw the.
Yeah.
Well, now it's like I didn't
Cinema
expect
history,
it.
yeah.
It it wasn't even promoted. If you look back, compared to things like at
No,
the
it's
time,
true.
it
You're
wasn't
right,
even
man.
promoted
No, it was
very
not.
much.
It
It
was
was
not.
just
It
kind
just
of
was
rolled
that little
out.
engine that could. It just
Yeah.
kept growing and growing and
Yeah.
growing. And I know, dude, it was.
Now people still
You
just-
really had to. You really deserved it back then.
I
Like
appreciate
when like it's just really amazing. Like when you earned your stripes, and when something was good, you earned that success, right? They didn't pre-deem it,
Yeah.
precog it,
It's
right?
true.
There wasn't a way to manipulate it with social media to get people there the opening
Right.
weekend. It had to grow. Like word of mouth was
Mm.
everything, and it grew organically into something really special, and it's become part of the cultural zeitgeist, and that's just amazing.
Kind of
It's a
like
testament to
this.
what it is.
Ah.
Kind of like this little
Hey,
pod.
everybody,
There.
thank you so much for
Yep.
joining us on the Brotherly Love Pod. Andrew
Andrew
Keegan,
Keegan,
everybody.
welcome
Come back
Anytime
again.
you want to come
Yeah,
back,
dude.
pal. All
I'm
right.
taking these boys to Tabaroo.
Yes.
Let's go. Maybe some of you could join us.
Yes, absolutely. We may do the pod from there.
We might do the
I mean,
pod.
honestly, stranger things have
How
happened.
cool is it?
So,
I know.
all right, guys. God bless. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time right here on the Brotherly Love Pod. Link and subscribe.
Yes,
Yeah,
like and
YouTube.
subscribe on YouTube.
Yes,
Thank you
like
very
and
much.
Subscribe, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Hey, what's up, everybody? The
Lawrence brothers are here.
Thank you so much for enjoying this week's episode of the Brotherly Love Pod.
And if you want more of this show, check out our premium feed on Supercast.
That's right, where you'll see ad-free episodes, monthly AMAs, behind-the-scene content, and so much more.
That's brotherlylove.supercast.com to join.
Check out our link tree and subscribe on all platforms.
We'll see you all
Next week!